This dream is about a dream about a person that says that he got murdered and that his heart exploded, okay? But that there wasn't like physical force is what I was understanding, that there wasn't really any force. But so he dies and turns into a ghost, okay? And he's trying to communicate with his family, that he's dead, but they have a cell, and so he has a spirit guide that is helping him communicate, through him being a ghost, through ghost form, and being able to communicate to his loved ones that are alive. And so they have a phone, like they have a cell, but they can't text and they can't communicate the whole communication. I don't know. I guess it's text. He didn't mention that, but I'm sort of thinking that. And that it was just like one word or one letter at a time, and that they would send, and that they would get hints, but they wouldn't get the full message, okay? That the only person that could see him was his murderer, all right? So this is a beautiful dream about miscommunication, all right? So there was something that went down. There was probably a fight, not a physical fight, but a verbal fight, possibly with a relationship that he has, or a familial, right? So a family dynamic that he has, okay? Because he's wanting to, reach out to his family. And so the only person that can see him is the murderer, right? So the murderer, the person that inflicted this very horrendous pain to him, he probably said something that was very, very bad and just hurt him. It hurt him tremendously, and it broke his heart, okay? It basically broke his heart. The explosion of the heart is like a breaking of a heart. It was like so overwhelming what he was told, or how this person hurt him, that it just broke his heart. It exploded, right? Because it just exploded. So the murderer can see him, right? So the murderer is the person that inflicted this pain in him, and broke his heart and told him whatever it is that needed to whatever it is that he got told, because there was no physical pain, there was no physical force inflicted, but obviously there was, words, okay? And so words are very, very powerful. And so he's the only one that can see him. Of course, he's the guy that whoever inflicted whatever it is that he told them, right, and hurt him tremendously, is the person that understands what damage he did, okay? And it was sort of like a murder, like it was like, like a betrayal is how I see it. Like it was like heartbreaking, okay, on whatever it is that he was told. And so he's trying to communicate with his family to tell him that he's dead, that he can't for some reason, because he can't basically do it in spirit form, in ghost form. And he has a guide that's trying to help him, like a spirit guide, and trying to tell him how to communicate, once he's in spirit form. And so it's sort of like Ghost, right? The movie Ghost. And so he's trying with, Whoopi Goldberg. This is very interesting. And so he's trying to sort of, send, I think he said letters, or send, like letters, or like eventually words, and that he couldn't communicate, he couldn't tell them completely, and the statement and the idea or the communication wasn't complete. And so the people, his family, got hints, but they never got the full communication that he was dead, okay? And I think that was it. They would send them once more. So basically what happens with this is that he was very much hurt by someone, okay? And it was probably through words, because there was no physical force. Words are very powerful. And so he goes into ghost form. So he's dead, right? So he has a spirit guide. So he probably is very much protected spiritually and believes spiritually. And so he believes that he is divinely guided and that he is protected, okay? So that's sort of like a side note for him not to worry about it, all right? The other thing is that he can't seem to communicate fully, and they can't seem to understand him. So there's a dynamic within the family, or within the relationships that he has currently, right, that is not effective. And so he's not being able to communicate properly and effectively to where his family members, or the people that he's concerned of. It's probably his family members, because he's wanting to communicate with his family members. So his form of communication is ineffective, okay? And so no matter how much he tries, right, he sends with like one letter, and I think there was one word, but he fully doesn't, complete the communication, and the receiving people don't get it. Like they don't understand what the communication is. They get hints and they get a little bit of whatever it is that he's communicating, but not the full story. Okay. So I think that that dynamic has to do with either a fight or a fallout that he recently had with this relationship, right? That hurt him so much, that it hurt his, like it broke his heart. Okay. That's why it exploded. That's why the heart exploded. So obviously the murderer knows exactly what he did, because the murderer is the only one that could see him, but the rest of the people don't know. So he's trying to communicate to the other people, this hurt that was inflicted on him. And he also feels unseen and unheard, right? Because they can't see him. The only person that can see him is the person that inflicted this heartache. So he cannot be seen by the people that he wants to communicate, and that's how he feels in real life. He feels that he is unseen and unheard, and that they don't understand him, and no matter how much he sort of tries with one letter or like a word or whatever, they still don't get it. They get a gist, a little bit about what the problem is and what it is he is communicating, but they don't get the whole thing. And that's it. I mean, it really is that he's just sort of feeling from his family unheard and unseen. And there was somebody that hurt him deeply. And that's why his heart exploded and he feels dead. Like he feels like he doesn't exist. Okay. He doesn't exist. All right. Namaste. Love and light.